I'm Miles Wyndham. I was invited by Mr. Graham. I claim to have information about my daughter.
Alright, this was resurfaced a week ago after like half a year of wait. In case you missed it, number 1, we've got Dead of Darkness. Well, Dead of Darkness is a 2D survival horror action adventure, now set to release on January 23rd this year. In this game, you play as a private investigator who arrives on this Velvet Island to investigate his daughter's mysterious death. So yeah, it features a complex narrative with over 15 different characters, each with their own stories. You're gonna be fighting, solving puzzles, and manage limited resources to survive. This game also includes some intense hallucinations that blur the line between reality and fiction.
No one's getting treated.
I don't understand you. Our baby girl is sick, and you just want to give up?
Why are you staring at me like that, mister?
This island is dangerous, and you owe these people nothing.
I remember you now. I remember everything. Dawn is upon us.
Coming up behind that, we've got Ragebound, which is a new Ninja Gaiden game developed by the Game Kitchen, the studio behind The Blasphemous and its sequel. Now, bringing back the action-packed combat of the classic series with a fresh pixel art style reminiscent of the Game Kitchen's previous work, it's also scissoring the events of the NES Ninja Gaiden and follows a new protagonist tasked with saving a village. Ragebound will launch in summer of 2025 on multiple platforms including PCs and Switch. Developers have actually announced that the game will also come to the Nintendo Switch. So, with that being said, Sky Dust throws you into a pretty wild post-apocalyptic cyberpunk world where everything's just gone sideways. Picture fast, intense combat that keeps you dodging, parrying, and dashing out damage with style all day. You're gonna be scrapping for cash and upgrades while revealing secrets in a broken down society. And what's actually cool is how it mixes dark vibes with tight, satisfying gameplay. It's the kind of game that pulls you in and doesn't let go. Coming soon to PCs only.
What really sets the game apart is its two-plane mechanic, where the stage action takes place in both foreground and background, and I will let the scene play out further without talking.
Neon Inferno is a cyberpunk action game from the creators of Steel Assault. It's set in a dystopian New York City in 2055 and combines side-scrolling and gallery shooter mechanics, offering a dynamic blend reminiscent of classics like Contra and Wild Guns, in which players assume the role of an assassin navigating the city's 5 boroughs, each controlled by rival criminal syndicates, engage in missions that span the war-torn slums of the Bronx to some neon-lit gardens of inner Manhattan. This game features 32-bit style pixel art, an evocative soundtrack, and supports 2-player co-op multiplayer. Neon Inferno is scheduled to release on PCs via Steam in 2025.
The game features many vehicle scenes which take full advantage of its unique mechanic, letting you ride your bike as you swerve in and out of the road lanes. You want to eliminate your opponents, but you also want to avoid harming civilians or crashing into them. Now, coming up is a dual mini-boss fight, which pits you against both the helicopter that you saw earlier in this video, as well as an armored tank on the ground. As you'll see in a second, the game also features a bullet time mechanic, which lets you use enemy bullets and bombs against them.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this cliché situation.
Well, number 5, we've got Don't Wake the Beast. This is a roguelite stealth classic in which players assume the role of a treasure hunter navigating procedurally generated dungeons filled with traps, enemies, and environmental puzzles. Equipped with a grappling hook in the game, players must stealthily collect treasures without alerting the animals that are actually guarding these treasures. Each treasure then increases the player's weight and noise, intensifying the challenge of escaping. It also features 4 unique different biomes, each presenting distinct challenges and mechanics. Currently, Don't Wake the Beast is available to wish this on Steam with its release date yet to be announced.
Some really nice folks on the surface. And underground. There it is. Do not make a sound. Shit! So yeah, lesson learned. Stay shush. Greed doesn't always pay off. And finally, don't wake the beast.
Whisper Mountain Outbreak is another isometric co-op player versus environmental survival horror game set in 1998, in which players must escape a cursed fog-covered city. It emphasizes teamwork as players explore abandoned buildings, combat monsters, scavenge resources, craft items, and solve puzzles to uncover this mountain's dark secrets. This game also supports single-player and online co-op modes, allowing up to 4 players to collaborate in the escape efforts. Check it out. Number 7, we've got Gal Guardians, Servants of the Dark. This is a 2D action Metroidvania game developed by Inti-Creates, set to release on March 27 this year. In the sequel, players control demon-made siblings as they explore the demon realm to retrieve the Demon Lord Maxim. Each sister then offers some unique abilities, requiring players to switch between them to navigate the underworld, upgrade weapons, and defeat demonic bosses. The game supports online 2-player co-op, allowing 2 players to control the sisters simultaneously.
Collect items, craft weapons, and enhance them as you restore your lord to power. Search across the realm for the lost souls of vassals and rebuild Maxim's castle.
お前が裏切ったのかライサ裏切ったメイド長が
Kirika and Masha, sole survivors after the Lord's vassals were slaughtered. And the demon lord Maxim, clinging to life in a shell of his former self. Their story of revenge and revival begins here.
やってやりましょうマーシャ我ら姉妹で
Castle conquering action resurrected. Gal Guardians, servants of the dark.
Space Hunters is an upcoming 2D beat-em-up game, and it's set to release in the first quarter of 2025 for all consoles. In Space Hunters, basically players embark on this adrenaline-pumping adventure across the galaxy, taking control of 3 distinct space bounty hunters, each with their own abilities and styles that are pretty unique for any individual. It also features hand-drawn 2D graphics and some intense combat sequences where players must hunt down these criminals that are quite challenging and collect bounties in very brutal settings. It offers both online multiplayer and an online versus multiplayer mode, allowing players to team up or compete against each other.
Space Hunters!
With that being said, Seeds of Calamity has got that blend of mystery and adventure that just grabs you. Imagine stepping into a world trying to rebuild after the ominously named Great Calamity. I mean, it already sounds like the perfect mix of hope and danger. This isn't your average farming game though. Sure, you're gonna be cultivating crops and helping rebuild the community, but there's a twist. Dungeons, battle magic, and ancient ruins are calling your name here. It's like Stardew Valley meets Zelda with a dash of dark fantasy thrown in for good measure. Comix Zero is a action platformer developed by Bear Games. It's also set within the dynamic pages of a living comic book, a genre that developers describe as Comixvania. Anyway, this game combines elements of Souls-like challenge with Metroidvania exploration, offering a pretty unique gaming experience in which players control Zero, which is an immortal protagonist battling an oppressive regime, with each death erasing a fragment of memory, adding a strategic layer to gameplay. Comix Zero is planned for a 2025 release on basically every single platform. Anyway, Shrine's Legacy is a co-op action RPG that channels the spirit of classic Super Nintendo games. You and a friend can team up as Ryo and Rayma, exploring the magical world of Ardemia. In fact, the game features real-time combat, elemental magic, and puzzle solving, letting you collect elemental gems to enhance their abilities and tackle various challenges. The story though revolves around restoring a sword to save the world from impending doom. The game is currently in development with a demo available for those of you eager to try it out on Steam. Coming out this February, Morsels brings a top-down roguelike where you play as a mouse, navigating a world brimming with fantasy and just madness. Created by Anapan Interactive, this action game centers around a mouse protagonist learning to transform into various creatures or morsels, each with their own different unique abilities. With a roster of swappable characters, you're going to be battling cat overlords and just confront enemies in very unpredictable manners, making for endless strategy possibilities and a unique replayable experience. Number 13, we've got War in Chiapas, taking you into the heart of rebellion in a gripping strategy classic. In this vividly recreated Mexican landscape, you're going to be commanding revolutionary forces, manage resources, and navigate these tense political conflicts. I mean, every decision shapes the outcome, blending tactical combat with a deep story. The visuals and dynamic AI feels pretty much alive, it seems, making a deeper level of immersion. Scheduled for 2025 on PCs, developers just released a new trailer for this one as well.
Si está muy herido, usa las vendas para detener su hemorragia.
Corta el suministro eléctrico. Será más difícil que los vean sin luz.
Moving on to number 14, we've got Everhood 2, now set to make a big splash as the highly anticipated follow-up to the 2021 indie hit Everhood. Anyway, this time around, the story takes you on a cosmic journey where you play as a lost soul caught in an interdimensional conflict and armed with moonblades and other upgradable weapons, dodging attacks and fighting new enemies on the journey. The game's rhythmic combat system, though combined with a pretty vibrant neon dark world, promises an unforgettable adventure full of quirky characters and philosophical twists. Check it out.
点選びや。卒業したらウェーブラン治安局の機動隊に入るつもりなの。
And last but not least, if you missed on this update, Sword of Convallaria's new Night Crimson expansion is seriously impressive. If you've been into the original storyline, this update takes it to another level with new elements. It's like playing detective while battling your way through the campaign, not to mention there's a new strategic leadership element that adds a whole new vibe. The new characters are game changers, plus the events is stacked with rewards, and if you haven't checked it out yet, trust me, now's the time.
解釈も違ってくるわ。
あんたもあの事件は怪しいって思ってるんだよな。
なかなかいい腕だ。この現場はそなたらに任せた。
現状を変え正義を取り戻す。私たちはそのためにここにいる。くそ、正面からぶつかっても勝ち目がありません。
その憎しみこそが生きる力だった。それでよかったんです。
この場で命を落とそうとも決して引きはしない。心の中の正義は実現しねえ。永遠にな。
この先どんな難局に直面するかあなたが知らないわけがあるまい。
誰かが担わなくてはならない。どんな代償を払ってでも。
後悔するような決断だけは絶対にしちゃダメだ。
いつまでも続きますように。